A grim evening. Clouds about in the night, in the rain. Who knows what is beyond those trees? What type of monster lurks in them? Tonight is a perfect night for a horror story. Maybe a werewolf will appear. Maybe a vampire from the night. Whatever it might be, keep your doors locked tonight. The ambience of light doth shone on this night in swoop no. For here, many years ago, a German soldier was killed by partisans. His name, Hans Schwarz. And it is on nights like this that his ghost does appear. Why does his ghost appear? Well, this is because when they buried the soldier, they forgot to bury him with his helmet. And now he walks about swoop no at night. This happened 80 years ago, and he's still looking for his helmet. Where does he walk tonight? Maybe here. And when he walks in the skeletal, no flesh figure that he has left, he cries out, "Wo ist mein Helm?" in German. "Wo ist mein Helm?" And he looks for his helmet. Do not come across him in the night in swoop no. For if you do, that will be your last night in swoop no. Once in a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of some gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this and nothing more." Distinctly I remember it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a crease of sorrow for the last Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, or "Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was snapping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness, peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming, dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before, but the silence was unbroken, the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and echo and murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this and nothing more, back into the chamber, turning all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely, that is something at my windows, Lettice. Let me see then what there it is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore it. 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Once here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped the stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obsequience made he, not a minute stopped and stayed he, but with mine of lord of lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, though, I said, art sure no craven? Ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Much I marvel this ungainly fowl of hair discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevance bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above this chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above this chamber door, with such as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke lonely, that only word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour, nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he muttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore, startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, what it utters to its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs once burden bore, till the dirges of his hope and melancholy burden bore, oh, never, nevermore. But the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I feel the cushioned seat in front my bird, and burst the door. There upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking, fancy unto fancying, thinking what this ominous bird of lore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly gaunt, an ominous bird of yore, meant in croaking, Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl, whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet, lining with the lamp light gloating o'er, she shall press, heaven o'er. Then methought the air grew denser, perfume from an unseen censer, swung by seraphine, those fooled fowls tinkled on the rufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, respite, and nepenteth from the memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird of devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed they here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird of devil. By that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Be that word or sign of parting bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest in the night's plutonium shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that shy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door. And these his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and a lamp of light o'er him steaming throws the shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted never more.